Hey, guys. Alice Felder here, your voice manager. I unmute the voice of women who are ready to speak up about what has kept her silent for way too long. And it is day two, guys. Day two of the hashtag unmuted book launch. I am excited. So, for those of you that missed it yesterday, I don't know which rock you were under. I understand, though. You can always go back and catch the replay of that, but I want you here and in the place to be. So as you're coming in, be sure to let us know where it is that you're coming in from so we can shout you out because we appreciate you being here, and we can come back, the co-authors can come back and engage and conversate with you, that part, because it's all about the conversation. And if you haven't done so already, make sure that you go to bit.ly/unmuted women in order for you to get your copy for $2.99 of the ebook hashtag unmuted, strategies to move from tragedy to triumph. Now I'm excited because we have some phenomenal, amazing authors in this particular book, and they go all in with their stories. So you'll be meeting a couple more of the authors today, talking about some things when it comes to the process of them being in this book, and then also where it is that they're going to be going within the next few years, few months, maybe even few weeks when it comes to what they're doing in their own business. So with that being said, I'm going to start off with Miss Darlene. Hey.
Good morning. How did I know
Great
you were going to do that to
morning.
me?
You know I had to. Good morning, Darlene.
Good
So,
morning.
introduce yourself to the audience, let them know a little bit about you, and then we about to be rocking and rolling.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us for this Unmuted Book Anthology launch. So I am Darlene Higgs Hollis. I am a master life and business coach. I'm also a master life and business coach trainer. I am a publisher and I am a six-time author. So I help women rebrand their lives and their businesses.
Awesome, awesome. And next, Miss Joy. Oh, I think we got you muted. There we go. Oh, no, I still don't hear you. Uh-oh. Nope, still don't hear you. It's okay. We'll bring you back in. Not a problem. Miss Mercy.
Hi, how you doing?
Hello. Tell everybody a little bit
Good
about
morning.
yourself.
Hi, my name is Mercy Marsh Jenkins, and I am a business consultant, a certified life coach, and a publisher and a speaker. And so my clients affectionately call me the scribal midwife or the scribal pusher because I push them to release their book baby and to launch digital products and online courses.
That's it. That's it. Okay. Thank you, Miss Mercy. And so we have, let's see if we can bring Joy back in. All right. We got you in. Are we able to hear you now? No? Okay. We'll work on that. Not a problem. Not a problem. And then so now I see also Miss Paula McDowell. Hello, Queen. How are you?
Hello. Happy Thursday, beautiful. How are you?
Happy Thursday. Let everybody know a little bit about yourself.
Well, hello, happy Thursday. I'm Paula McDowell, life reconstruction strategist and self-love curator. Um, I'm here because I'm living proof to let you know that nothing is impossible. I serve individuals who want to move beyond chronic situations while creating lifestyle changes that start a movement with health, wellness, self love, and healing. I'm proud to say that I am a 4 year cancer survivor, thyroid cancer, and I'm super honored to be on this project with some amazing women while we share our strategies with you and the things that we've been through. It's amazing. Not only is it going to save your life, we have strategies that are going to help you know that you are definitely not your situation. So get ready to divorce your sad story and marry your new beginning after you come in contact with all of these amazing stories. Thank you.
Oh my goodness. I love that. Listen, divorce your sad story. How many of us can definitely relate to that one? Especially this year, now more than ever, it's time to divorce the sad story so that way we can end the year strong. Thank you to those who are coming in, who are sharing and inviting, those who are coming in. Make sure that you tell us where it is you're coming in from. We want to be able to support you and come and say hi and have our co-authors come and engage with you in the comments. But not just that, I want to know where you're coming from and if you're sharing it out, because we have some prizes and gifts from not only myself, but some of the co-authors as well. So be sure to make sure you put in those things, hashtag shared, make sure that you're putting out where you live. Well, not the full address though. We not about that life, but all of those wonderful things. So I'm going to bring on, also we have Miss Cherie. I want Miss Cherie to come in and say hello again to the audience. Hello.
Hello, everyone. Hello. My name is Cherie Casey. I am an author, podcast host, life coach, and I work with women who are in transition, who need to build their confidence. Confidence is very important in moving forward. So I like to say, hey, ladies, it's our time. It's our time to stop holding back and move forward. And it is such an honor to be a part of this project with all these amazing women. And your life is about to change today. Get this book now.
Y'all heard her, y'all. Get this book now. It's time for us to have changed lives. Thank you so much, Cherie. And we're going to bring Miss Joy back in. So if you haven't done so already, make sure that you go and get your copy of the book. It's $2.99, the ebook version of it. $2.99. Less than a cup of coffee. But go to bit.ly/unmuted women. That's bit.ly/unmuted women. We look forward to hearing your responses as well. So those of you that had already gotten the book yesterday and checked it out, please make sure that you go back and give a review, because we're about to start checking to see if when the reviews come up, we have some prizes for those people who are doing those first couple reviews of the book. We appreciate you guys. And look, woo, come on in, Miss Joy. Oh, no, still can't hear you. No worries. We're going to work it out, guys, because we want to make sure that you hear all of these ladies and that they are for sure enough unmuted. Oh, wait. Let's see. Okay, how about now? No? Oh, man. Okay, we'll figure it out. So this is one of the biggest things that I am it's so heartfelt for me when it comes to this particular project, is that it's more than just a book. Now, let's be honest. Let's be real. A book does a lot. I think a lot of times we don't really give books the full-on power of what it is that they can do. And so I had to be able to share this message with you really quickly, and then we're going to start jumping into the whys behind some of our co-authors saying yes to this particular project and what it meant for them. There's more than just having a book. A book creates community. How many of you have been able to link up with people that like some of the same stories you like, or like some of the same authors that you like? It creates community. Books create change. It creates change. It enlightens you about something that you may not have known, and it allows you to be able to move in the direction and with the most information that you have, the most you can have, or it intrigues you to be able to go and find even more information about something. So when I say that this is more than a book, I'm tapping into those of you that all are along the same lines of knowing I know why the cage bird sings, and those of you that have read many Dr. Miles Monroe books and things of that nature, that you can all come together and say, wow, that changed my life. This is the book that changes lives. Like, it's so much bigger than it just being the book. And so we've been able to tap into some great things. You guys know that when we launch a new book, listen, we're doing something with that money, right? That it's not a lot, but we do something with it. And so in the past, we've been able to help domestic violence shelters. We've been able to help women get out of domestic violent relationships. We've been able to go and support organizations that work with young adults and youth that have different learning disabilities or physical disabilities. And so we pride ourselves in being able to serve in that capacity. And this particular project is so much bigger in what we're going to do. So for those of you that have already purchased your book, we thank you, because you are a part of this movement. For those of you that are saying, I want to figure out how I can be even deeper in the movement, just wait. We're going to get to that. But this year, we will be donating books to a school in Africa. We will be donating the books to some teen girls in Africa, as well as some women in Africa as well. And then we have some other ideas and people that have been tapping in and saying, hey, what about in the UK? I may have some people I can talk to. What about in India? I have some people that want to talk. Listen, the book is about to be put into the hands of those who need it most. So the community is about to grow, y'all. I am super excited about that. That warms my heart. And so it starts with the why. And so I'm going to bring on Mercy, Darlene. No, we're going to bring on Joy first to see if we can get Joy in and get her audio. And then I'm going to bring on three of the ladies and have them talk about their why and for saying yes to this particular project. So, Miss Joy.
Hello.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
No worries, no worries. But tell everyone a little bit about yourself.
Yes, I am Joy. I am a best-selling author and I am a domestic violence advocate. And I help women when they're coming out of abusive relationships to find themselves and live as they desire and deserve.
I absolutely love it. So actually, I'll keep you on, Joy, and I'll do Joy, Darlene, and Mercy. We'll start with these three ladies and have them tell you why say yes to this particular project. So let's start with Darlene. Why say yes to this project?
Um, well, I've been spending so much time helping other women to write their story that I don't talk about my own a whole lot. And so when I had to really pray about being a part of it and thinking about what will I talk about? And what I did, I knew I needed to talk about something that is very unpopular, that a lot of people don't want to, a lot of daughters don't want to admit to my what I talked about in my story. And so that's why I said yes. I know that there are some women that need to look at the big picture of their relationship with their mother.
Mhm.
Oh my goodness. And you know, that's one of those topics that still remains pretty taboo because we do have a lot of broken relationships between mothers and daughters, fathers and children, like all around the world. And so I'm definitely, man, that chapter, as I was reading through it, you got to hold back tears because I no longer have my mother here. And so, I loved, my mom was like a good friend to me, but I know that that's not the relationship that everybody has. So, man, whoo, powerful chapter. If you haven't done so already, get your book, bit.ly/unmuted women. You definitely want to tap into that. And then we're going to move to Miss Mercy Miles Jenkins. What is your why for saying yes to this particular project?
Well, the title really grabbed me, from tragedy to triumph. And as you know, this year has been an unprecedented one. And so I wanted to tell a different story. Normally, when I tell a story, I tell a story from the standpoint of spiritual abuse. And so most people know me to talk about that matter. And so this was an opportunity for me to come out behind that curtain and to talk about something different. And so I did. And so I talked about this year. I feel like this year, what we've gone through is worth talking about. And just how we've responded or maybe even reacted to the whole quarantine thing, and, journaling our quarantine chronicles, and, just the very things that we've gone through. And so I talked about how in the midst of that situation, I was able to turn it around.
Powerful, powerful. We know that one of the biggest things that we've been pushing with World Voice League is finish strong. It doesn't matter what this year looked like, what happened in the beginning, we can still finish strong. So I want to say hey to some folk who are shouting us out in the comments. Hello, Jacqueline. And then it's also somebody over in LinkedIn as well. Good morning to you. Thank you for sharing out the broadcast. We absolutely appreciate it. And then Miss Joy, why say yes to this particular project?
Well, this opportunity came at a perfect time for me, because I was just really deciding how much more of my story I wanted to share. And the title, Unmuted, it really spoke to me, because there's some things, even though we help others, some things that we need to come to grips with and face. And mine was depression. And I didn't know how to really bring that out and go in more depths of what depression really looks like. And when it said unmuted, it just hit me like, this is the perfect time. And then to be able to be with other women that are going through this same struggle of unmuting their voices. For me, it was the title, and I knew if it was a title like that, it had some depth and substance to it. So I jumped on the opportunity, and it was a great help to me healing, because I had never really gone that deep within myself to express how it really was. And I felt a freedom. I felt a complete freedom in sharing, and that doesn't come for writers often. So I appreciate the opportunity. I can't wait to read everyone else's stories as well. I've been kind of savoring it, like, because I wanted to sneak peek. I said, no, I'm going to take a setting and sit down and really embrace my sister's stories, not just skim through it. So I'm excited. That's my one.
I love it. Oh my goodness. So that leads me to the next question, where, a lot of times as women, one of the things that you said was, this is women coming together. And I think now more than ever, that woman support, that women coming together and saying, I got your back. I'm supporting you. I'm here for you. You're not alone. Oh my goodness. That one voice has made a significant change that we've seen within the last few years. And so I know each of you have a big piece of that when you're dealing with the women that you connect with, when you're dealing with the programs that you're creating. It's, I want to make sure that we're unifying women. And so with that being said, as a person that steps into it sometimes, but we don't always get the support, what do you see us going in the next 6 months or a year when it comes to women being able to collaborate with each other. Because when we think about unmuted, a lot of times we're muted because we think we're alone.
Mhm.
So let's start with Mercy.
Well, something like COVID actually brings the best out of people. When we're going through a crisis, it's a natural opportunity for us to rise and to support and to say, hey, if you need some sugar, I got sugar. If you need some bread, I got some bread. So it's a great opportunity for us to actually share and give of ourselves. And so I think from here going, one of the things that COVID has taught us is that you cannot depend on one stream of income. Right. And so it does activate a spirit of the entrepreneur in us. Now, if you wasn't studying that, if you wasn't about that life, if you wasn't even drawn to it, I think this is the season when you're starting to be perked up. And of course, in order to become an entrepreneur or even step in those waters, you have to be willing to serve.
Mm.
Because an entrepreneur is one that's serving with their gift. They have an ability to serve with their gift to actually solve a problem. And so we've all got problems, we've all got issues, but we also got wisdom to solve a problem. And so this is an opportune time for people to gravitate together and say, I need help. And especially like we are forced in this incubator internet streets where we're forced to communicate all over the world, right? All over the globe. And so that opens even more opportunities for us to collaborate. And like even today, somebody reached out to me to be on a virtual summit in London. I'm from London. But to be able to do work in London yesterday, I was with Fraser, that's Scotland, so it's like, this is the time when people's like, no airfare, no car. We don't have to spend money like we did before, but we can still solve problems with our gifts.
Oh, that part. I think that was very valuable. I think one of the things that it taught us this year is that we all have the same, we're all at a level playing field.
Correct.
And so the celebrities that we looked up to, the speakers we looked up to, the entrepreneur, we were all literally on a level playing field. And so it gave us opportunities that we may not have already had before. But man, it opened up some great conversations. It opened up some great opportunities. And I'm seeing women do more in COVID than they've done any prior year.
Absolutely.
Oh my goodness. Miss Joy, how about you?
Yes, I think the opportunities that are coming ahead, they've expanded because we're identifying our safe places now. Whereas before we were just in a hurry doing this, doing that, and now we're looking for that substance and creating safe places that we feel comfortable in sharing with as women. Because a lot of women, they're sitting back waiting on that perfect opportunity and wondering, am I going to be judged? But now you have the chance to really dive in. You have the time, to process everything and then see where you fit in that safe place. And I think that's important for women now, because most of the time we are the safe place. But this COVID has shown us that we need a safe place to go to as well. And for me, it's almost been like a time of detoxing, from the busyness and getting down to the purpose. And while you're unmuting everyone else's voice, how about your own voice? So I think it's just a great opportunity to engage in safe places and spaces.
Oh, I absolutely love that. That security that we didn't have before. And I'll even say this, the security that we had back, like our great grandparents had that security where they would come together and had their Tupperware I'm taking it way back, y'all. Tupperware parties and raise money for other women in the community and things like that. That old school that we really we walked away from in so many different ways because of things that have gone on and just how we've evolved. But I love that we're coming back to that point of being able to say, hey, I need help. I'm not okay right now. hey, I need some support. That part is very valuable. And so, what about you, Miss Darlene?
So I feel that the past, what's it been, 6 months, maybe more, it has really made us look at our humanity. It's made us stop. It's made us really sit still and just reevaluate our lives. And when we've had an opportunity to do, since we've had an opportunity to do that, we see what's really important to us. And also, it makes us look at how we really need to be there for each other. I have seen a lot of women who they're ready to go for it, things that they were afraid of before. But now they're like, I'm ready to do it. And so it gives us an opportunity and puts us in a space in our minds to even trust to collaborate. Because a lot of times that's why we don't collaborate because of all of um, the hurt or the things that we've experienced before. But now that we're more in touch with our inner self, we are more confident. And for some of us, it's allowed us to really sit and have a vertical conversation with God to know who we are and be more confident about who we are and how we walk in this life and looking at place, where do we want to go next? Where we on our path to where we should have been? And so that aligns us more with who, not just who we collaborate with, but what we collaborate with each person on. One of the things I've done in my coaching group it's called Rebranding My Life Coaching Group with women. We don't only talk about business. We talk about everything: mind, body, spirit, and the money. So we can't leave all those things out, just the total woman. And I think when we do that, it will allow every woman to really be who she is and be comfortable with who she is and know that she's okay walking the path that she's walking on, that she's okay standing in her truth and moving forward. And I think that will make collaborative efforts moving forward would be more in alignment with where each of us want to go. And it will benefit everybody.
Ooh, okay. I want to definitely bring in Cherie and I want to bring in Paula to add to this because I've seen them do some significant things within their business and their brand and in their lives as well when it comes to collaboration, when it comes to helping to support other women. And so, Cherie, what about you? When it comes to supporting other women, where do you see that going within the next 6 months or so?
Well, that's one of the things that I had talked about on my podcast. The collaboration piece right now is really big. We're seeing women coming together to make things happen. None of the cattiness, none of the jealousy. I know Dr. Cheryl Woods has a motto: "No mean girls." No mean girls in the elevation entourage. No mean girls. Let's get together. Let's bring everybody's story out because we are so much alike. I mean, just yesterday, during the broadcast, we had a commonality. We both lost children. And I'm sitting there while she's talking like, wow, I done been in the same place. So, a lot of us have been in the same places. And even, I read Joy's book a while ago and it just blew me away and pushed me to, it pushes you. And hearing Altavisa's story originally it just pushes you. So we got to learn to embrace what each of us have and take it and run with it. Hit the ground running, hit the floor running.
And you, Miss Paula?
Now,
Oh,
um, I'm always honored to be amongst trailblazers and women and people in general who are very unapologetic about who they are. And I can say from all the women that I can see here today, Joy, Darlene, Shireen, Mercy, I've been watching you. I remember when she was steady on Periscope. So it's not a mistake that we all came together maybe at different times on our journey, and a part of the process, because we have to go through the process to get to the promise. It's somebody out there that's in the middle of their process and they didn't think they can make it because of what happened in this pandemic 2020. But today, my loves, when you turn on and you see there's people just like you, we've been through the same issues, if not more, that nothing is impossible. Nothing is impossible. I laugh to myself and my daughter tells me, Mom, you made another one of your dreams come true. And if you want to be for real and going back, I look at everybody. I was the 16-year-old teenage mother when everybody and their friends said, no, you can't talk to her because you can catch being pregnant. Duh. But, that's another story and another side. Girl, you can do this. Everyday people, it's things going on around us every day. In the middle of a pandemic, they talking about everything that everybody else is making. Now it's time to hear your voice. It's time to hear your voice. And sometimes you have to hang out in the background or in the shadows, like I've been doing for a few years, until the opportunity presents itself and you understand, okay, this is it. They've been talking about a lot of other stuff, but when this opportunity presents itself and everybody line up, you're supposed to be there. That's why I'm here. Because I tried to quit so many times along the way. Oh my God. I got a story after the story about what happened to get the story to the print. A story after the story, how we made it in print in spite of, regardless of, because of, and anyway, and anyhow. Keep pressing. You got to put a press on it and keep going. So I just came by to say, be encouraged.
Ooh.
I had to stop. I'm the crybaby of the group. I am the life changer. I am the overcomer. Be encouraged. Nothing is impossible. Change your look. Divorce your sad story and marry your new beginning. Come and check out our book. It's going to change your life.
Ooh, she over here dropping nuggets, you guys. I see you guys coming in on LinkedIn. Hello, good morning. And then Dee Dee Moreland over on Facebook said, this is what's called us women to do. Unite, support, impart, and be great together. Unity.
Yes.
Yes.
And I think it was so like it was put together so well because that is what we've been doing. We've been unifying and becoming stronger together, going and supporting in the ways that it's needed. And man, it goes off the rails sometimes. Let's just be honest, because I can tell you, and I think many of the women in this book, I think every woman in this book, when we talk about going through the process to get to the promise, there was a moment where you was like, I'm done. I don't want to go through the process anymore. I don't want to get up early anymore. I don't want to talk about it anymore. I don't want to speak on stages anymore. Everybody gets to that moment where they're like, I'm done. I feel like I'm always being stretched. I'm always the one that have to be the bigger person. I'm always the one that has to show up in such a way. And you get to that point, and there's always been someone that as soon as you get to that point, they reach their hand out. And it could be a phone call, it could be a prayer,
A text.
come on. It's the moment of I see you and I want to make sure you're okay. Or I haven't seen you in a while.
That too.
And so I want y'all to talk about what that moment has felt like for you, because with this book, I feel like this is the book where you're putting your hand out to another woman who's had a child that passed away, another woman that's dealt with a divorce, another woman that's dealt with somebody backstabbing, another woman that's dealt with failure, another woman that's dealt with depression. This is that hand out to them to say, sis, I see you, or I haven't seen you, and it's time for you to be heard. And so we're going to start with Paula. In your own life, When did that moment happen for you?
Can you hear me? Okay, good. Uh, whoa, that moment, you need that moment to make sure, or to even look around to see somebody that looks like you. Sometimes it's not even words; it's just eye contact. To let somebody know I'm drowning here and I need some help.
Mm.
And for me, the moment came when it was a lady that I had knew from going to some council meetings, and she wanted me to come to church with her, but I felt like, what is this lady talking about? I can't do anything with that. And she was also a dance teacher where my daughter, one of my daughters went to school, and she was my savior. I was in the middle of an abusive relationship, and I felt like I couldn't tell anybody from the embarrassment and the humiliation. But one person still came back to me, and I felt like she wasn't going to judge. And one of my quotes that I said, "You will be surprised to know the people that have gone through the same things that you've gone through.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you're drawn to them for a reason. You're connected to them for a reason. But this person, when I connected to her, at the time I was in my 20s, I had 3 small children, and she understood because she had escaped from a relationship with her life. She didn't have children, but she was still in an abusive relationship, and it was something about me that kept calling her to me to support me. And I'm so grateful for the kindness of strangers or people who don't look like us, because sometimes those are the people that are connected to us. They have been assigned to us, and they see what we don't say. Let's thank God for the people who see what we don't say, and they're persistent. And then you even say sometimes that they're annoying, but they see what we don't say. So be grateful for the people that come across in your life that see what you don't say. And if you're connected, don't be ashamed, because this is a part of the process to get you to your promise.
Man. Oh, Miss Mercy, what was that moment for you?
I hear feedback. Is that okay? You hear me okay?
Yeah, we hear you okay.
Oh, okay. All right. So that moment for me, and I digress from the book, but there was a moment, and that was the COVID moment. And what COVID did for me is, I mean, I had been an entrepreneur for a year and a half. I resigned from my job to go into full-time ministry, full-time entrepreneurship. I took that leap. I took that jump, right? I said, I'm about to do this thing, right? So I'm doing this thing in real estate. And then here comes COVID. So my husband he's bringing in the weekly paycheck. And so, as you know, there's ebbs and flows, there's ups and downs, and when you're an entrepreneur. So anyhow, so he came through the door, and I just knew something had happened. So I said, "What's up?" So he said to me, "They laid me off," right? And so that was my moment when he said they laid me off. I saw like 10 years ago when we had to start from rock bottom, when we was dealing with loss, when we was in a family shelter, when we didn't have our car no more, when we was walking on foot, when I would feel embarrassed, right? That I was going back to shelter, even with a job, walking back to the shelter, going up the stairs, there's urine on the stairs, there's blood on the stairs, all kinds of things that's going on, right in the smack of the hood. There's people smoking as I'm passing them, as I'm going to the school. Then you have to run back in your house around about 6 p.m. at night, because whatever happens in the streets is on you, right? And so I saw myself like going through that process again of loss, losing everything. This time we bought our own property. We've got 4-unit property. Everything's on the up and up. And I was like, oh my God, I just bought a brand new car January. My husband just bought a brand new car like 6 months before that. And then here comes COVID, snatches everything away from me. When he says, I've just been laid off. And I said, I mean, I literally saw in my mind the neighbors peeping through the curtain, watching my car being repoed. That's how much of a movie trailer that was going on in my mind. And in that moment, I had to say, rewind, stop the tape. Stop the tape now. Not watching no trailer of loss and no hope and woe is me. And we're going back to where it was. No. God done built me up. It ain't happening. Not again, not on my watch. I had to get radical because I was beginning to feel depressed. I mean, I'm only talking about like 60 seconds. I'm not even talking like a day or two. But the movie trailer was deep. It was proper deep. I was feeling the emotions and the depression that was coming on me, that black cloud, right? That I couldn't see my way out. But some kind of way, some kind of how, I don't even know. I just said to myself, wait a minute, if I got a brand new car, why would God give me a brand new car and then snatch it away? I said, not so. So it was in that moment that I began to question some things. And I said, nah, God bless me. It doesn't matter what is going on right now. There's no way that I would have a car. See, here's the thing. With that car, I didn't even want the car. My son crashed my car. I was driving around with the car busted. You couldn't even get in on the passenger side. But I said, I don't care because guess what? Sometimes it's feast and sometimes it's famine. So we're going to have to drive with the car looking the same way. The car is paid off. Are you hearing me? The car is paid off. So why would I put myself in that predicament? Insurance company that took my car and said, ma'am, you got no choice. We're upgrading you. I had no choice. So I said, oh, goodness. And this happened on my birthday. So then I said, wait a minute. It happened on my birthday. I said, God, you was giving me a birthday gift. How did I not see this? I said, how did I not see this? This was a birthday gift. So in that moment, I'm like, wait a minute. If you said it was a birthday gift, then God is not cruel to snatch it because of COVID. And so in that moment, that's what began to really break up the trailer. I started looking at the mind and the heart of God. And I said, he's not an ending giver. He don't give and then take back like that. That's not how that works. So I began to challenge and I said, nah, I'm not dealing with this. I'm not dealing with this. So I said, all right. When I say it, I'm not even joking. I had to literally talk to my mind. I had to talk to my body because my heart was like all up here. And I had to calm myself down because I was thinking about the kids and the embarrassment. And so I said, no, calm down. We ain't doing this. So I sat in my husband's chair. He has a lazy boy chair. I don't even sit there. But this time I sat in it. And I leaned back and I said, okay. I said, Holy Ghost, Jesus, tell me, what are we doing? What are we doing? Right? What are we doing? Because I know you're up to something. So I'm partnering with you. And so now I'm asking you, what are we doing? Because I don't have the answers. And so it's in that moment that I heard a voice say to me, teach people how to write books. I said, what? This was not on my radar. Mind you, I just pushed out 3 books, like in the space of like 3-4 months. I pushed out 3 books from November to December 31st, 8 p.m. Eastern time was when I dropped my pen. And then I had a launch party March 6th. 2 weeks in, my husband gets laid off. So I done pushed out 4 books, March 6th. And then 2 weeks later is COVID. So Holy Spirit says to me, teach people how to write books. I'm like, never on my radar. I'm like, didn't even question. I said, okay, not even playing. Got my cell phone, put on Facebook, like this, on a background, said, book coaching starts on Monday. Who's in? Who's in? And then ever since then, we've been rolling. To date, I've got even 30 contracts to actually publish books. And like this is in the space from April to now. And I've pushed out 2 anthologies, and I've got 2 more books for next year. So by the next year, I'll be an author of 10 books. But I rode in to this year being a published author of 4 books by March. So when you talk about a moment, that was a moment. And so since then, I've been encouraging people to do not take lightly these moments of crisis, when there's contractions, when there's pain, when you feel like your whole world is caving in, when you feel like you've been restricted and constrained. That's an opportunity to break out. That's an opportunity to break free. And so in that moment, because I was able to tap in to the Holy Ghost, I've been able to help other women to tap into their voice, unmute their voice, tell their own story, publish their own story, right? Be reacquainted with who they are behind the mask and behind the veil, so that they can be unapologetically themselves when they haven't been. And so I teach people that you must be vulnerable. That was a vulnerable moment for me. And I'm not always vulnerable, and I'm very private. But this situation right here, this crisis situation, caused me to really share on a whole new level. When I do my interviews, a whole new level. Yesterday I got interviewed, and he was like, that seemed like that was the first time you shared that. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. That was the first time that I went deep and behind the veil. Yes, because that's the type of situation we're in right now. That's the moment that we're in right now. Unless you remove the mask, you cannot reach back and help another somebody. You can't. You've got to be vulnerable and transparent, and you've got to accept the good, the bad, and the ugly about yourself and what you've gone through. Right? Telling people that I was homeless, and I'm saying all these stories that I never even told people before. I'm telling about my insecurities and my weakness that I've never said before. And I'm saying it, and I'm loving it now. It was hard because I am that type of person that, I got my life together. I ain't saying nothing. I'm not going to tell people none of that, because I dealt with shame. I know what it's like to deal with shame. But guess what? The Bible says, you get a double portion. What? You get a double portion for your shame. So whatever you went through that caused people to laugh at you because you didn't have the right clothing, the right wear, the right words, the right look, or the right career, you wasn't going up the ladder, you didn't have anything significant about yourself. Bible said we get double honor. We get badges, we get gold badges, gold stars, we get purple badges, we get all of that in his kingdom. We get all of that. And so that's the moment of truth. And with that moment of truth, you can help somebody to experience their truth and to own their truth and to live that truth without lying.
Ooh-wee. That right there was pure fire. Oh my goodness. When she said I had to stop the tape, because man, that tape will run and make you think that you're not worthy of the blessing that you were supposed to have. Stop the tape. Oh man. Hoo-wee. Mercy, mercy, mercy. That right there. And then, we have our sis Sabrina in the room. I'm about to bring her in. Sabrina, I want you to introduce yourself and then tell us your why for being a part of this particular project.
Hello.
Hey there.
Hi. So my name is Sabrina. My why honestly is because my sister made me do it. But on a deeper level, it's because people always say, "Oh my God, you're," because the chapter is actually part of that I put in this book is actually part of another book. People always say, "Oh my God," when I have a conversation with them and I share my background, they be like, "You went through this, you went through that. Oh my God, you can't tell." And I'm like, "Well, yeah, no, I don't look like what I've been through." Like I was explaining to one of my coworkers yesterday, I was, and I said, "I'm so excited, the book drops." And she's just like, "You wrote a book?" I said, "Yeah, I'm a part of an anthology." And she's like, "Well, what's it about?" I said, "Well, on first glance, you can't tell that I'm the product of domestic violence. My mother was murdered when I was 7 years old, and that I was the eyewitness. And I had to spend a year in and out of court testifying, and then my whole life was turned upside down because now I'm living with their family, but it's people I don't really know y'all. Like I see y'all on the weekend, or I see y'all at a couple of holiday functions, but now I have to adjust to be with you guys on a permanent basis, and I don't know how to do that. And I'm like, my world's different. I don't know what's going on from one day to the next, and just dealing with the trauma of being the witness, to losing my mother, and then even on a deeper level, just realizing, and it took me, like I share in the book, is like it took me 30 years to even honor my mother on her birthday because I was so angry and upset and didn't even realize that I had that, and didn't even realize on a deeper level I considered it my fault because I didn't tell anybody what I saw for 30 days. Like I was quiet, I was silent, and not that if I'd have told the next day, that would have helped because she was already dead, but it could have sped the process along a lot faster. But it was just like that internal voice, and I didn't even realize it till I just took a moment, within, I guess, the last few months, and just sat and really got close to God, and He just shared with me, just begin to uproot and pull out and dig deep, that people need to hear this because there's somebody else that they've went through a similar situation, and they've got this internal voice that they need to shut up and they need to be removed. And so, yeah, like people need to know and understand, like I shared with a parent, because I'm a teacher, once before, and she was dealing with a situation. I said, I don't look like it, but my mother was, murdered, and I don't want the same thing to happen to your children. Your children have no one but you to depend on. So you need to make better decisions, and you need to make better choices. So that was my why, to help someone else say that, what, yeah, I mean, life dealt you lemons, it dealt you, whatever, but you can take that and you can make something awesome out of it. They dealt you coal, okay, go through the fire and you can make a diamond. So that's my why.
I know she says because my sister made me do it, but it was important for her to share her story. And I think that oftentimes when it comes to being unmuted, we hear the story of the women. We sometimes hear the story of the abuser, but we don't often hear the story of the children. And it makes such a significant difference when you hear the story of the children, because sometimes that touches the heart of the women to be able to say enough is enough. And it takes it to a whole nother level. I can tell a woman, that I've been in a domestic violent relationship. I can tell them what my experience has been, but coming from a child who's seen it, and oftentimes we think that our children don't see what we're doing. They don't see where we've been. And that's in life and in business, that's in finances, that's in everything. But they mimic us.
Mm-hmm.
And so us being unmuted about the things we've gone through allows them to see, okay, well, they made a mistake, but here's what they learned from it. Let me not go that same journey. It opens up the opportunity for so many. But this was also a very significant moment for me, because one of the moments that I was talking to you guys about when it comes to us needing a sister, needing somebody to see us when in a moment where we kind of hid ourselves, Sabrina was that woman for me. And so when my mother passed away, I had been driving up and down the highway 2 states away to take care of her in a nursing home. I had been going through, I'm the oldest of 5, so I'm dealing with all of that. Some of my siblings are still in school. And after she passed, there was a moment where I was standing at the kitchen sink doing dishes, and I was just crying. No words were coming out of my mouth. No sounds were coming out. I was just crying. And she walked up behind me and just held me. We do not understand the power of who we are until we step into who we are. It's so significant. Because sometimes we are the ones that need somebody to reach that hand out. And like I said, for all of you that are watching, I said, this book, that's what it is. It's that hand out, that hand up to say, I see you. You're not alone. I hear you. Because sometimes we have to be the one to hear that woman who's crying at night when everybody else is asleep. And so that's why it was so valuable when we say collaborations and where we see ourselves with collaborating with other women, because guess what? We're the ones that's going to make that change. I know a lot of times we put the pressure on government and we put the pressure on all these other people, but the reality is it's going to come from us. It's going to come from the women that you see in this. Y'all heard it yesterday. When Vandora said that she started her company and that she was going back to help those same women that she had saw in her journey, it starts with us. It starts with you. But you got to say yes. And boy, that yes, it comes with some things. Miss Darlene, so when was that moment for you where you had a woman step in and you just was like, man, I'm so glad you stepped in?
Well, for me, there's been so many different parts to my story. And I'm trying to think of there's been several women for me. But what I honestly what I wrote about in the book, not many could understand because most women don't talk about their relationship with their mother and how things are not going well because everybody just tells you you need to respect your mom, you need to just get along with your mom. And me having made that decision to just be myself, just be honest with myself and honor me and protect me. When you have a mother who is trying to help your soon to be ex-husband gain custody of your children and having that fight of your life, not many women understand that. Um, for me, there were a few women who really knew me as a person, who didn't question my integrity, who didn't question who I am as a person, who said, I'm here for you. I'm here to, I believe what you're saying, and I'm going to help you fight too. I'm going to continue to encourage you. That was so there were really several women for me that talked to me at different points. Because for me, even though I was a minister and, I prayed and all of that, I didn't even want to hear any more scriptures. Like, because I needed some practical things said to me. Because I know scripture. And I felt at that time that it wasn't really working for me. I actually lost physical custody of my children for 2 years. And during that time, what sticks out in my mind is a prayer group of women. There were about 5 women, most of them in the Bahamas, where I'm from. my cousin had introduced me to them, and they would get on the phone. I would get on the phone with them in the mornings for their prayer call, and that's a part of what kept me through, in addition to a few women at my church, because I didn't have a lot of female friends that were right there with me. Like my best friends, they always believed in me. But again, for somebody to talk to me specifically about the mother issue, not many women want to admit that that's their relationship with their mother. And I have been able to help other women by being honest about what happened with me and mine. Um, it has caused breakthrough with some women, and that's why I wrote that chapter. I got it from my mother, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and I had to come full circle to see how I am like her in a lot of ways, and to look at not just the ugly and the bad, but also look at the good in it. And there were a few women along the way who said, "Man, you like who knew me? They're like you like your mom, like you push like your mom, you have that business acuity like your mom, or you have the strength of your mother." So for me, there were different women in my life who helped me with that.
But it didn't want to work. Okay. I love it. I'm looking at the comments on Facebook, and Dee said, "Come on here. Having a narcissistic mother is a real thing. Ask me how I know. It's such a different lane. We need uh, we need practicality and prayer and support and resources and understanding." And see, this is why this particular project, like I said, was going to go beyond what so many other people just throw into a book. You know, we just put something together and say, okay, this was a message and a mission, because man, lives were going to be changed, because these are the conversations that still, and I don't want to say it in this way, but this is the only way that I can say it, is that these are the conversations that are the thorns in our sides. These are the conversations that are the Achilles heel to why we don't see success in business, in relationships, in life, in finances. It's because of these things that are happening that are holding us back. And it's not until the veil has been lifted and we see it for what it was. Because sometimes, I hope y'all catch this, sometimes we're holding on to it thinking that it was our wrong. And it wasn't. It was someone else's wrong. And we took it and we've been carrying it for years. And it's only when we get to that understanding that we can go ahead and we can sit it down where it belongs, at the Father's feet, and let it go and walk away and get what we deserve. We've been carrying things in our hands for too long.
And Altavis, that is one of the reasons why, and you've known me for several years, I would talk about everything. I would talk about the custody battle. I'll talk about the divorce. I'll talk about the domestic violence. I will talk about other struggles, but I didn't really talk about my mom, because in some way, like people are looking at you funny, and you walk in shame for so long, even with men. Because I had one guy who said to me, he said, honestly, I was going to ask you, like, what did you do that your mother did that to you? And he said, until I got to know you, it's like you didn't do anything. So a lot of times we do carry these things and we don't talk about it. And I was determined to not to even if it wasn't mending that relationship, talking about it, and in some way. And we got to talk, well, in some way, just before she's at the point now where she does not know me because she has dementia. And when she said that to me, I think I had just used that it was one of the breakout session topics at my conference last year. And I'm just thinking about it now. That was October. And it was in December when she, in her own way, apologized to me because they said she kept asking for me once they took her from where she was in my island to Nassau. And they said she kept saying, I want to talk to Darlene. And she doesn't talk to me. And when we got on the phone for her to say we just all need to get along, I just cried because I was angry. I realized how angry I still was even at that time. Like, why couldn't you have said this years ago? It wouldn't have destroyed me, my relationship with you, my children. It just did a whole lot to me because I looked up to my mother. I mean, that's the first woman we look up to. And so for me, that I carried a lot of shame and not talking about it. So when I sat down to write, you see, I almost didn't even write it, right? When I finally sat down to write, it really opened some things in me, even though I had begun to come to terms with, like, you are like her, like, but there are some really good things. This is the woman who taught you about business from you were 13, where she sent you in her shop, and you wonder, like, I'm only 13, why are you sending me to run your shop for the week? Anytime I went home, because I went to high school in Nassau, when I got home, it was like the shop keys, I did the bookkeeping, everything, not knowing that she was grooming me. Even though knowing I wanted to be in science, she was grooming me to do business. So I had to go back and look at those things. So just coming full circle, I think for all of us in this book, we have really come full circle with a lot of things. Even as we sat down to write, um, it was like it flowed out. And that's why it was so hard for us to write it, even though we did not admit that, yeah, this really bothered me. Yeah, I was really ashamed. So now for me, I'm like, okay, it's out there. No need to be ashamed anymore. But I'm still proud to be her daughter. So I didn't mean to say all that, but it just came up.
Oh, no, no, no. It's because it's that healing. It's that mending relationships. It's that mending broken bridges. It's that peace that has kept us divided. Like we walking around and we don't fully have peace because we have this thing. And no, we don't always talk about it because we juggling, y'all. We try and be mom, sister, everything. We trying to, but it's something that really hinders us and pulls us back. And I think, like I said, with knowing just the impact that this particular book is going to have on women around the world, like not just women in one small community, I mean, women around the world are going to read this and be able to elevate in their life, elevate in their business. They're going to be able to heal. They're going to be able to have the conversations like Darlene, you sharing that you were able to have that moment, but you had to share it first. And then it seemed like that moment came almost immediately afterwards. That's healing for someone.
Wow. Didn't even think about it.
That's healing because somebody else has been holding out on having the conversation because they said, well, it ain't going to do nothing. They've been holding out on talking about it. It ain't going to change nothing. No, it changes you. And then that opens up the opportunity for it to change the situation. I'm going to say that again for those in the cheat seats, those in the back. I want y'all to hear that. It changes you. And then it opens the opportunity for the situation to change. And that's the ultimate goal, right? I see you guys coming in. Thank you for coming in on LinkedIn is rocking out this morning. So is Facebook. I see you guys, but it's that piece because we want to grow. We want to take this to another level. We want to be able to elevate. I'm telling you, at that business level, you can't get to, and I'll say it like this: you can get to being a millionaire and be unfulfilled and miserable because you still holding on to that. We not holding on to it no more because we want y'all to be whole. Now we still have some things we gotta work on. Okay, we ain't perfect, but I want peace. I want joy. I want laughter. I want to be able to do stuff like go to an emu farm just because. I want those things where I have peace. It matters. And Dee Dee said it. Look, Dee Dee said there is triumph over trauma. Healing and forgiveness is vital. It's vital. We can't reach elevated statuses until we get through this point. And then when we get to this point, I'm speaking it. If don't nobody else, ain't nobody else got to speak it. Because I know listen, life and death come from the power of my tongue. I'm speaking it. That the increase for what y'all have placed into this book is going to blow your mind. It's going to blow your mind. The investment, the time, energy, the money invested in this project is going to blow your mind. And it's going to increase you in such a way that you've never even thought a book could do. New levels. New levels. It's so significant. One of the other things, and I want to get you guys' feedback on it, is that let's just talk about it. Because Darlene put it out there. When we're going through this process, it's a process. And this process of getting this book out for you guys, from writing the chapters to getting it formatted and edited and making sure the cover was right and making sure, I mean, man, oh man. So ladies, tell them a little bit about the process, what it has looked like for you. Let's start with Sabrina.
Process. Yeah. Well, I started writing this chapter years ago because I've always known that I needed to tell the story of just my life in general. You know, what I've been through and everything. That's one thing I used to always say as a kid is that I'm going through this, even before I got saved, before I came to know the Lord, I used to always say, I'm going through this because I'm going to have to help someone else someday. And not knowing how true that very is. And I just wrote it, and I just wrote just to write something and threw something out there. But when Altavis asked me to become a part of this, I really sat down and like I sent her what I had, but then I really sat down with it and I started sharing my truth. I started sharing, the process of how I felt and, just being honest, because when I wrote it before, it was just something to write just to get out there. But when I really sat down, I had to tell my truth and dig deep and just be honest, because nobody's going to get healed from the fluff. So I had to tell the truth, the unadulterated truth. Like, it doesn't even matter, if feelings are hurt, then I'm so sorry that your feelings are hurt, but this is the real deal. And, I can't coddle someone else's feelings when there are other people who need healing on the other side of my truth. So the process was emotional, extremely emotional. I think I might have cried for about a week. Just in realizing, that it took me 30 years to tell my truth. And it took me 30 years to even honor my mother, on the day that, she was born. Like, when I sit and think, like, it took me 30 years to honor the woman who gave me life. Regardless of what decisions that she made, it still took me 30 years. And I was just like, wow. I'm like, I'm sorry, and God helped me to redeem the time, for the rest of my life, to live my life in a way that I continue to make her proud of everything that I'm doing and, the woman that I'm becoming. So that's the one thing I can say, that it was a really emotional process. And it was a cleansing process and it was a freeing process because once I told my truth, this weight that I didn't even realize I was carrying was lifted. This heaviness, this dark cloud that surrounded me throughout the entire month of July, it evaporated because I let it go. I had a frozen moment, like Elsa said, and I let it go. Um, so that's my process.
I absolutely love that. I thank you so much, Sabrina. And so I'm going to bring, let's see, I'm going to bring Miss Cherie on to tell us about her process when she was going through this particular chapter.
Oh, okay. There you go. It was kind of like a self-reflective moment because there are things in our lives that we just don't deal with. We stuff them. We when you go through a divorce and my chapter, I'm not going to tell everybody, but it deals with the reality of when you realize that a relationship is over, a relationship that you valued, and it's over, and that person no longer reciprocates the love that you have for them, and that's painful. That's a painful thing, and it's stuffed away, and but it stays there. We gloss it over, we move on, but we gloss it over, and but it's still there. It's like a whoopee. Or you're holding a puppy or a toy. That's what it feels like. So for me, in this process, it was like, my God, I still carried that. Even though I've moved on and grown, I'm still carrying this weight. And when I got done with the last rewrite, I was like, oh my God, I wanted to pick up the phone and say, this is how I felt. This is what I was feeling. And I've been carrying it for all these years. And, that stuffing has to go. We have to stop stuffing and move on. And that process was so healing, so free. And you wonder why, like one of the things Alta B said, a lot of feeling things that we're carrying are not our faults. But nevertheless, they happen and we still have to deal with it. So that was my process.
Oh my goodness, that is so real for so many people. And I think, like I said, we have these moments where we think it's just me.
Mm-hmm.
And we're like, no, there's no way other people can be feeling what I'm feeling or have gone through what I'm going through or, can understand. And no, there are so many that can understand what you're going through.
Mm-hmm.
And they're in this book.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Exactly.
They are in this book. Get your book, bit.ly/unmuted women.
Mm-hmm.
This is how we change the status quo. This is how we tap into something else. And don't just get a copy for you. Get a copy for like 2-3 friends because it's $2.99, y'all. Get a copy for 2-3 friends because this is the thing where y'all read it together and you say, I'm not leaving my sister behind.
That's right.
I'm not going to allow you to go through this anymore, or I'm going to be the one that helps you get through this. I know a lot of times that's the other piece is that we don't know how to help. And so since we don't think we know how to help or what we can do, we do nothing.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
we're like, no, we got some things to do, y'all. We got some things to do. So over to Miss Mercy, your process when you were doing your chapter, how did that feel for you?
I'm on mute. I'm sorry. I just realized I was on mute. And so what I was just saying is that my process was interesting because it was in the moment process. I was currently walking this thing out. I had no idea what it would look like in the end, but I was willing enough to be transparent to say, let me try this. Let me share what's going on, because COVID was that thing that rocked people's lives and rocked their foundations. And so I did want to share how I'm handling my COVID experience, and just felt like it encouraged somebody else. But the scary part for me was I didn't know how the story was going to end. So I didn't see the end of how it was going to, whether it was going to flop or whether or not it was going to flourish, right? So I was in the discovery of it. And in that process, I was discovering myself. Like, who am I in the face of adversity? Who am I in a pandemic? Who am I when, finances from the family has been ripped away? Like, who can I, what can I do? Who can I become? And so my process was I was discovering who I was and was willing to put myself out there without knowing how it was all going to end. And of course, this is like a front stage, because if I fail, then I fail on front stage. And so that took a lot from me, a lot of courage. And in fact, even to just step out from what I normally talk about, it took a lot of courage. And it was just a decision that I needed to take, because I was thinking about other people in this season. People need an encouraging word. They need to know and believe, have faith and trust that it will work out. And so that was my faith, that it will work out, but I just had to just walk on water is what I was doing. I was walking on water and putting myself out there. So for me, I was in the middle of my process, and I just wanted to reach out at the same time.
Oh, that's valuable, because a lot of times we forget to document things, right? And so this is your process of being able to document what it is that you went through.
Correct.
Oftentimes we're like, yeah, we don't document things. We don't write things down because we're like, I'll remember it. Yeah. I'll be able to go back and recall. But in all actuality, it's in documenting what we're doing and how we're feeling that we put ourselves in a position to be able to teach somebody else. That is always, for all of you entrepreneurs out there that's like, I don't need a book. Go ahead, receive that lie if you wanna. Go ahead and hold on to that lie if you wanna. The reality is that you're leaving somebody else to figure things out on their own when you already have the blueprint. That part, it comes from documenting. It comes from the books. It comes from, you're leaving somebody else to have to start from scratch, because you're going to your grave with all that wisdom. Come on now, listen. Thank you, Mercy. Okay, so Miss Paula, I want you to talk about your process, ma'am, because I know that you have been on this journey for quite some time, and that process looked a little different for you as well.
It definitely looks a little different. Thank you. First of all, I'm super excited about this project. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And being able to read and be a part of and witness pieces of everybody else's story lets me know that I am definitely on assignment. Sometimes we feel like we're not where we're supposed to be because so much is going on. But if we stay focused and we just focus on where we are at that time and change our mindset, we can move forward. This journey almost never happened when I think about it now, because in the background, even as entrepreneurs, as creatives, we have lots of things going on in our lives and we want to make things come to fruition. There's other things that happen along the journey on the process. It's been a long, extensive legal battle with some issues with my son. And one thing that I've learned, that one of the hardest jobs I have is being a Black mother in America. So we still have to be able to get our voice across without, because everybody's accusing us of being angry Black women in the process of all the things that are going on. But I beg to differ. I spread love and light with each moment, even as a person who lives in chronic pain, who is a thyroid cancer survivor, who's been a domestic violence survivor. I've had uh, 10 surgeries and I survived thyroid cancer. And I'm here to say that one thing, I'm many things, but bitter is not one of them. And when people assume because you speak about the process or what you're going through that you're angry, I'm not. I'm not. This has been a year of all years, 2020. And if you were able to produce, to create, and put something out in the atmosphere, congratulations to you. Because all the heartfelt videos, all the pain and the trauma that we experience every time we turn on the news or social media, it's just another witness to that nothing is impossible. Y'all, when I tell you that this has been a definite labor of love, coming out of the shadows to experience and to talk about the things that have made you better going through the process. I At first it started totally different because I wanted to talk about my abuser and all the things that he did, and you don't understand. But when you get quiet and you sit still, you get another message. So I just want all the women and the children and the families out there that are currently in a situation to know that it's not impossible. If you are a mother with children and you want to move forward, you have to come up with a strategy. Strategy is everything. And it took a strategy to finish this project, to come together with these awesome women. And we're so grateful. I'm so grateful. When you read between these pages and you find out, you're going to find something in each story to encourage you along the way and to let you know, don't you dare quit. Don't you dare quit. We've been in impossible situations, but we kept moving forward. So we came by to encourage you from tragedy to triumph and to let you know this is the one thing that you're missing. So get in touch and bit.ly unmuted women. Come and get a copy of our book so you can move forward. There's so much more to come. Thank you.
Oh, and you said that piece. It's so much more to come. It's so much more. Many of the women that I work with and do different projects with, I have seen their process. I've seen them go through a lot. I've seen them overcome some things. I've been the person that's been sending prayers in their inbox or via text message or checking in on them, and um, to be able to see them to develop and be on the stages that they have been placed on. And sometimes we think about a physical stage, but the reality is every day that we wake up is a new stage. It's a new opportunity for us to share our story, share our heart. It's a new opportunity for us to serve and encourage somebody. And one of the things that Paula always says is, I've never not made it. I've never not been okay. I've always made it through. And when you look at your own journey, there are so many things that you've overcome. You've been a victor in the moments where at one time you were a victim. And it's so valuable for us to grab a hold of that and say, I'm better now. I'm better now. And the value that I can give to somebody else, I'm not going to hold it hostage anymore. Now, here's the thing. So I'm always making sure that I listen to what God is telling me to do. And I wasn't going to do a second version. It was supposed to be a series. Then we went through the process and I was like, I don't know if I want to do another one. And then God kept putting it on my heart. No, you need to do another one because there's more women that need to show the world what it means to be unmuted. And so I'm going to open up the opportunity for 10 women to join the second volume of Unmuted. You have time. It won't be out until next year. So it ain't like we about to do it in 3 weeks or nothing. I'm not doing that to you. But message me. Send me a message on whichever platform you're watching this on. And reach out to me and I'll give you more details. But I see this as a process for us getting in front of the women that need it the most. I see this as a process for us to be able to change lives, and it's no fluff. Like you were listening to the ladies today. They have not been bringing you any fluff. They have not been bringing you any little they're not coming to you with the googly eyes and just making everything sound sweet. No, they are coming to you with the real things that are happening in and out of life and business. And guess what? It's the things that have held us back for way too long. I look back and I say some of the things that we're still struggling with right now are things that held back our grandparents and our great grandparents. They're the things that kept our family in poverty, for generations. They're the things that kept generations of family members going to jail or dealing with different diseases that are connected to stress and things of that nature. And you know what? I say it right now. Whew, y'all better catch this. We are the curse breakers. That's what it is. When you take into authority what it is that you have been through and decide that you are not going to go through it anymore, decide that your children will not go through it, decide that your family will not, your bloodline will no longer deal with that thing, you become a curse breaker. And being that curse breaker means I have to go and be deliberate and share my story. I have to go and tell people that it wasn't always easy, that I tripped up and I fell, that I came across, some really struggling moments. I have to be that person. And in order to be that person, we got to put it on the table. You can't feed people. I don't care what table you have. You can't feed people without food. I don't care what table it is. I don't care if it can fit 15 people or 3. I don't care if it got the rickety leg. Y'all know. Everybody done had a family member with a rickety leg table in their dining room. I don't care what the table looks like. And I think sometimes we get a little too comfortable in trying to figure out what the table should look like. No, do you have the food that can feed someone? Because you can feed somebody from a card table. The little folding one that you play dominoes on, just because you want to see the dominoes pop up when you smack the table. It doesn't matter what table it is. What's the food that you're preparing? And this is part of that. And so I'm only going to open it up for 10 women. We're going to go through. I'll let you know when everything starts and I'll put you in a private community. But I really want you to have this understanding that it's bigger than us. It is bigger than us. And so I'm going to bring all the ladies back on and have them share some of their final thoughts with you as we roll out and let them know let you know where you can find them at online. But I'll also, if you have not done so already, check it out. It's scrolling across the bottom of the screen, bit.ly/unmuted women. That's how you get your copy. It's $2.99. Get a copy for you, get a copy for a friend. We're definitely looking forward to being able to go and donate the money from this week's sales. And we're donating books. Some are going over to Africa. Some will be going possibly to India. And we're going to make some connections and see if we can get some in some other places as well. But it's about changing the lives of teen girls and women all over the world. And guess what? You have an opportunity to be a part of that. So bit.ly/unmuted women. And I'm going to bring the other ladies back in and have them each tell you their final thoughts, and then also where you can find them at online. So let's start with Miss Mercy. Let them know your final thoughts when it comes to being unmuted and where they can find you at online.
Speak your truth and own your truth. And remove the Band-Aid so that your voice can be heard. I can be reached on Facebook. Facebook is about the only social media that I'm able to handle right now. So I'm on Facebook. My name, Mercy Mars Jenkins. Personal page and business page. I do have an Instagram, but there's not a lot of stuff going on. But you can reach me over there too. But you can reach me also or find some more information about me on www.legacydrivenconsulting.com. That's my website. And if you want to reach out, DM me. I'm very personable. That's all it takes is a DM. And I'm praying for you while you're on this journey. I know what it's like. I have a book called Mercy Speaks, because there was years when I couldn't speak. So I'm praying that you will take that step forward and liberate yourself. Snatch off the Band-Aid and speak.
I love it. I love it. Miss Darlene.
Hi, everybody. One of the things that I thought about is for years I was totally numb to everything that I'd experienced with my mother in order for me to survive and even fight to get my children back, and to come to terms with the loss of that relationship with my mom. I'm the baby of 12, so that really like that hurt to the core. But writing, really taking the time to sit and write.
Can you hear me, Mercy? Am I next? I see we
made
having some Wi-Fi.
It made me
issues.
come to that point where, okay, you can't be numb about it anymore. And as I wrote, it really did something to me. So I want to tell women out there who, if you have not written your story or you're afraid to tell your story, as a publisher, a lot of women are, I know that a lot, I'm a book coach, I know that a lot of women are afraid to do that. They're afraid to
connected. I can't hear.
They're afraid to speak their truth. And so I want you to speak your truth.
Hello?
And don't be afraid. Your story is your story. And for where you can find me on Instagram and on Facebook, Darlene Hollis, the CPR Life Coach, or you can go to my website, www.thecprlifecoach.com.
Cool. We were having some technical difficulties. Okay, so Miss Cherie, you are next.
Then we having a problem.
Okay, I just want to say, my quote in the book is, "To thine own self be true." Because if you're not true to yourself, you can't be true to anyone else. You can't help anyone else. The saying is, when you get on the airplane and they tell you put your mask on first, that's a very real analogy, because you can't help anyone else unless you have the oxygen flowing to your brain first. So, if you need help, get help. All of these women are here. We're here for you. Get the book as soon as you can so that you can, go through your process as well, because it's going to be a process for you reading this book. If it was a process for all of us writing it, it's going to be a process for you reading it. So, just help yourself first, because you can't help anyone else.
Great, great, great. Oh my goodness. It definitely was a process for us. Miss Paula, you are next on my screen, ma'am. Okay. Are you all set, Miss Paula?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Yes.
You're next.
Excited. Okay, sorry. I couldn't hear. We was getting all back and forth, but I'm super excited about this opportunity, ladies. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful to be a part of this, and we can't wait to see what's going to happen next because we have so much more to come. And you can contact me here on Facebook at Paula McDowell, and I'm also on Instagram at the Life Changer 45. So I can't wait to see what God does for us next. Have an awesome Thursday. And don't forget to check out the book so you can get connected to all of these stories and see what we have coming for you. Thank you, ladies.
Yes, indeed. So you guys, if you are a part of any of my social media, you'll see that they will be doing interviews. The ladies will be doing media meetups, and there's a lot coming. There's some magazines, articles being written. So definitely make sure that you guys are tuning in. And again, like I said, this is a movement. This is a process. This is more than just a book. So we are taking it to a whole nother level with what you've ever seen in the past. When it comes to an anthology, it is nothing like what we will be doing. I can guarantee that. Miss Joy, you are next on my screen, ma'am.
Hello, everyone. This has been so exciting and so encouraging. And I don't know what to say because y'all opened up some areas in my life that will be future books. so anyway, because there's been so much healing just in our conversations. So I just want to encourage everybody that you can do it. If we've done it, we're living proof. We're here and sharing our stories. We have a level of healing that you need to acquire for your own life. And so, again, I'm Joy, and I do work with women that are going through domestic violence situations. And you can find me on Facebook at Joy Alleman, and you can find me on Instagram at Joy by Design. So it's joy_by_design. I'm looking forward to connecting with you all and continuing our relationship we built it with the Unmuted ladies. So y'all join us, and don't forget to get your copy and share one out with someone else. Thanks, guys.
Definitely. And of course, we can't forget about Miss Sabrina Metz. Sabrina, what is your final word when it comes to being unmuted? And let them know where they can find you.
I can be found on Instagram at Bree_his_favorite_daughter, and on Facebook at Sabrina Metz. My final word would be is that I encourage people to open your mouths, because you have no idea how many lives are being destroyed because of your silence. Like millions of lives are, just people are living toxic lifestyles because of your silence. And they can't be free until you unmute yourself, or you help get unmuted to help someone else so that they can be free. That's it.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And we want to say thank you to everyone that tuned in today. Thank you for those who are catching the replay. We appreciate you guys. Be sure to get your copy of the book, bit.ly/, unmuted women. I was about to say it backwards. Unmuted women. We want to make sure that we are touching as many lives as possible. And not just that, we want to make sure we also keep our other co-author, Dr. V, in prayer. She wasn't feeling well today and wasn't able to join us, but she is joining us in heart as we go and wrap up. This has been a phenomenal day, guys. I'm excited. I look forward to seeing not just you reading the book and getting your feedback, but I look to see you guys do some amazing things. Oh, and I think what we're going to do is I'll probably come back tomorrow and do like a closeout so that way we can name all of the winners for sharing the broadcast, for coming in, for purchasing the book, doing reviews. So we'll just come pop in and do like a quick live to say thank you and to show you what the prizes have been. So with that being said, I appreciate you guys. And until next time, don't forget to press it out. See ya.